Good morning. Today is August 8th, 2020, and my name is Ann Stern from the Lakes. Today we're talking about Mark chapter 8. And as I was looking through here, today we're going to focus on verses 14 through 21. Now, just to set this up a little bit, Jesus and his disciples have been out teaching. They were out for about 3 days. And they ended up, this was the time that Jesus, he fed the 4,000. He had 7 loaves of bread, fed the 4,000 people. The disciples picked up 7 baskets full of leftovers. So they have left that spot now, and as they are walking, they're coming to the sea, and there are some Pharisees that meet them there, and they want Jesus to perform a dog and pony show for them. Perform some miracles for us. Give us some signs. Show us that you're the Messiah. Show us you're from heaven. And, when Jesus performs miracles, he does it out of compassion. He's healing people. He's feeding people. He's taking care of the people's needs. And for the Pharisees, they just want him to perform like he's a performing dog. And Jesus is like, no, sorry, I'm not doing that. And so he and his disciples quickly get into a boat, and they push off and they start sailing across. So that's where we come in. And so I'm just going to paraphrase that next part for you. So Jesus and his disciples are in the boat, and the disciples, they realize they only brought along 1 loaf of bread, and they're kind of panicking a little bit between themselves. And Jesus turns to them and he says, whatever you do, don't allow the yeast of the Pharisees and of Herod to get inside of you. And the disciples, they're preoccupied with this bread stuff, and they start talking amongst themselves. What's he talking about? Is he talking about because we forgot the bread? And Jesus turns to them, and I can just imagine how he's very frustrated. The disciples have just seen him feed 4,000 people with 7 loaves of bread. And here they are all obsessed because they only have 1 loaf of bread. And he says to them, you have eyes. Haven't you seen what I've been doing? You have ears. Haven't you listened to what has been going on? So you can just sense in this chapter the frustration that Jesus is feeling at this moment. Now, let's explore once what he was talking about when he's talking about the yeast of the Pharisees and of Herod. This week I kind of found something like that in our own culture. It's where wrong teaching is brought into your life somehow. And Jesus is saying, don't allow that wrong teaching to expand and fill you. So, before the whole COVID thing, I really wanted to see the movie The Art of Racing in the Rain. It's a story, it's told from a dog's point of view, and I really, I had heard some good things about it, and I thought, I would really like to see that. Well, then the theaters closed down and I wasn't able to. Well, I ran across it as a book on tape, and I thought, I'm going to get that, and I'm going to listen to it. I began listening to it, and I was so disappointed because the dog starts telling about his life, and he tells about that this is probably his last day in this life, but he said he's not worried because he saw something on TV where he is going to become reincarnated as a man. And, I thought, a lot of times the things that we hear in movies or things that we read, they have such wrong teaching in them. But we want to listen because, we think it might be a really good story. But when we listen to that type of thing, those ideas can get stuck inside of us. And if we're not careful, those things will expand and they will take over where truth belongs. So make sure that you are getting your truth from Scripture. Scripture is truth. And we can't allow the yeast that is present in our society, in the things that we're exposed to, take over that truth. Thanks for listening today.